Hello and welcome back to Killer Bites, a web series where we discuss true crime cases of the spooky and unusual. And in today's episode, I'll be telling you what Essam Ahmed did in 2006. Hitman stories always blow my mind. Like the concept of someone approaching a friend, relative, or random stranger to ask them to kill somebody already sounds insane. And then when you hear about how cheap these people will do it for, it's always like that much more shocking. On Saturday morning in 2006, 23-year-old mortgage broker Ann Lauren Royston was in her Los Angeles office. While she was there just doing her thing, a man and woman burst in. The man was wearing all black clothing from head to toe, robber style. He was tan and middle-aged with a bushy mustache and a thick accent. The woman with him was allegedly his wife. Now, this couple didn't come in to get Ann's help with their mortgage. They came in to kill her. The man informed Ann that he was hired to kill her by her boyfriend's ex-girlfriend. The ex apparently agreed to pay him $37,000 to do the deed and had already given him $17,000 as a deposit. He had this black folder with him that included several pictures of Ann and a printout of the email from the woman who hired him saying, "I want her done by a shot to the head." The hitman told Ann she reminded him of his daughter. So he was all like, okay, new plan. I don't necessarily want to do this, so if you pay me the $20,000 I was banking on from carrying out this job, I won't kill you. But you only have 3 days to pay. Ann was obviously very spooked and didn't want to lose her life, but she also didn't want to shell out $20,000 to get him to leave. And even if she did, there's no way to tell if Ann's boyfriend's ex would just hire someone else. So Ann called the FBI and filled them in on the terrifying confrontation. They immediately began investigating the situation and asked Ann for a detailed description of the man. That Tuesday, aka the deadline to pay the $20,000, Ann identified her hitman out of a photo lineup created by detectives. His name was Essam Ahmed. Essam was a 51-year-old Egypt native who now lived in Las Vegas, Nevada with his family, including a college-age daughter whom Ann reminded him of. He was a poker dealer at the Bellagio Resort and Casino, and I guess a hitman on the side. That's one way for a side income. That day, Ann and Essam spoke over the phone. He continued to ask for the money, and Ann continued to ask for more time to cough it up. But from what I could gather, Essam agreed to extend the due date, but when several weeks passed and he hadn't reached back out for the money, detectives started to get suspicious. Where did he go? And that's when one of the FBI agents decided to look through the database of people who have entered and exited the United States. And guess whose name was on the exit list? Essam Ahmed. He was also with a woman named Teresa Engel, who I'm going to assume is the woman he claimed was his wife and when he broke into Ann's office. So Essam and Teresa had fled the country, but they didn't go to Essam's home country of Egypt. They went to Ireland, which is kind of a random place to flee to, if you ask me. But not long after Essam arrived in Ireland, he was back at it with the scams. One day, 2 laptops were stolen from a rich businessman named PJ Howard. The next day, PJ's sons were contacted by some dude who said he was hired to kill them and their dad for 130,000 euros. However, he said if they paid him the discounted rate of 100,000 euros, he would spare their lives. Is this starting to sound a little familiar? The Irish police were notified of this incident and they quickly arrested their suspect, Essam. And eventually, one of the United States agents found out about the crime in Ireland through an FBI ambassador in London. The US agents then got in touch with Irish officials to compare notes, and they were all like, these cases might be related. But there wasn't enough evidence to link them together and fill in all the missing holes from Ann's case. So the FBI raided Essam's house in Las Vegas to search it. And when they looked through the shared family computer, things completely unraveled for Essam. Agents figured out how this operation came to be. How, you ask? A little website called hitmanforhire.net. Yeah, you heard that right. A website for hiring people to kill other people. There was a quote on the homepage that read, "Thanks to the internet, ordering a hit has never been easier." Anyway, while Essam carried out Ann's hit, or at least attempted to, he seemed to be looking for help because there was an employment section on the website where people could upload their resumes for consideration. And I know what you're probably thinking, who in the world would apply? Also, who are your references? Apparently several people did, and I guess it just makes sense. I mean, you always hear about those stories where people kill just for the thrill or just to see how it feels. This way, those sickos could get their fix and make some dough. Seems like a win-win, right? On the other side of things, there were quite a few people who made hit requests through the website. Like a 5th grade girl in Kentucky who wanted to off some girl in her class, a woman who wanted help taking her own life, and then there was this chick named Marissa from Pennsylvania who wanted her ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend lifeless, aka Anne. So here's the backstory of this hit. Marissa's ex-boyfriend apparently left her behind and moved to the West Coast where he was dating Anne. It's not clear how things ended with Marissa and her ex, but given these circumstances, I'm guessing it was bad or Marissa blew it out of proportion. Angry, jealous, and betrayed, she visited hitmanforhire.net and put in a request. She wrote, "I need someone by the name of Lauren Royston killed ASAP. She's located in Los Angeles, California." To clear up any potential confusion, Lauren is Anne. That's her middle name. Essam attempted the request and Marissa paid him $17,000 for a deposit thanks to 3 stolen credit cards. And as for the hit put out in Ireland, that came as a request from the woman named Sharon Collins. She wrote this novel of an email to Essam saying she wanted her lover and his 2 sons slain. And homegirl was very specific. Sharon said she wanted the 2 sons to be killed first and then PJ. But she didn't just want to execute PJ any old regular way. She wanted it to look like he jumped from his vacation penthouse in Spain, which was 14 stories high, so the authorities would think he committed the act after finding out about his 2 sons. To really convince Essam, she gave him more insight as to why she needed this to be done. She said, "The main reason I'm doing this is because he's continually trying to force me to go out and pick up a stranger." PJ and Sharon were dating, but they both came from previous relationships where they had children of their own. And now that they were together, PJ wanted to explore all there was to life, including which Sharon was not about. So I guess she thought the only solution was to Google search for a hitman and hire Essam to do the job for her. And not only would this get PJ off of her back, but it would also make her rich in insurance money and single again. And just like that, Sharon mailed 15,000 euros to Essam and he flew out to Ireland, which couldn't have been more convenient for him given the whole Anne situation. It didn't take long for the Irish police to arrest Essam, and thankfully they got him before he carried out Sharon's plan. But I'm not even sure he would have been able to do it even if he tried. The guy knew nothing about killing someone. But even though Essam didn't have the experience with or knowledge about committing these life-ending acts, he was determined. Essam was a self-starter, a do-it-yourselfer, you know? The kind of guy that didn't back down from any type of opportunity. He saw the chance to start a new business and made some money, and damn it, he was gonna figure out how to deliver. So he turned to his dear friend Google and searched things like, how to make a silencer out of old toilet parts, places to order cyanide, how to make ricin, which is a form of poison made from castor beans, and clay aiken, which was a search made by his wife, who was a big fan. Remember, this was the family computer, so everyone had access to it. But all of Essam's research seemed to be fairly useful because in their search, FBI agents found a firearm with a homemade rubber silencer as well as a castor bean plant in the backyard. Now that the FBI had all this dirt on Essam, they got in contact with his wife, Teresa Engel. She was very cooperative and flew back to the US as soon as Irish authorities decided not to charge her since she wasn't directly involved in the crimes. When she made it back to the States, Teresa met up with FBI agents and told all. She said she married Essam about a year earlier, even though he was legally married to another woman, the one who was obsessed with clay aiken. Anyway, Teresa allegedly lived with Essam and his previous wife, which is so freaking awkward. Teresa claimed Essam was very controlling, and that's why she got roped into helping him with all of this. She went into detail about how they took the castor beans Essam grew and turned them into a poisonous powder. They put it in a contact lens case, stuffed it in Essam's toiletry bag, and flew to Ireland. Now, apparently Essam's toiletry bag was searched when he was first arrested by Irish authorities, but they gave it back to him because the bag apparently contained medicine Essam took for a heart condition he had. Once the US detectives found out about the contact case thing from Teresa, they got in touch with their Irish counterparts who immediately searched Essam's things. When they opened the contact case, however, it was empty, but they sent it off for testing. I wonder what Essam did with the homemade ricin. Maybe he just threw it away to try to avoid getting caught. Well, Essam eventually went to trial in Ireland for his crimes. During his trial, the lab results from the contact lens case were revealed. It tested positive for traces of ricin, but that's not really a surprise given all that we know now. Essam's trial lasted 6 weeks, and in the end, he was convicted of extortion and burglary and sentenced to 6 years in jail. After serving his sentence in Ireland, Essam was extradited to the United States for another trial. The night before his trial was set to begin, Essam got it over with and pleaded guilty to conspiracy relating to extortion. He was sentenced to 33 months, but I think he got released earlier for good behavior. I couldn't find any information about where Essam is now, but since he was sentenced back in 2011, I'm going to assume he's been out of jail for years, hopefully earning his money the right way. Here's where things start to get blurry, because Essam didn't technically carry out any of these plans. He couldn't be pinned for the crime. FBI agent Sotelo explained it well when she said a lot of people might say they want someone dead, but unless you do something to put it in action, you haven't committed a crime. But she also mentioned he had all the stuff he needed to follow through with it, including a firearm with a silencer and ricin. So that makes me wonder why he went through the trouble of gathering those tools. Did he intend to kill these people, but chickened out last minute? Or was this all a ploy and he never planned on harming anyone? Well, she ended up getting 6 years in jail for ordering the hit and using stolen credit cards, by the way. Sharon also served 6 years in an Irish prison for soliciting murder. And now we just hope that she doesn't find someone else out there idiotic enough to execute 3 people for her. Guys, thank you so much for watching another episode of Killer Bites. My name is Mack, and until the next episode, stay safe, my friends.